Ethan had always lived a quiet life on the colony planet of Virel 9. His days were simple and predictable. He worked as a ship repairer, fixing small civilian crafts and occasionally helping the community with minor tech problems. He liked the routine. The soft hum of machinery, the smell of oil and metal, and the faint scent of the pine-like flora around his home were comforting. He had built a life where nothing unexpected could disturb him. Or so he thought. One night, as the twin moons cast silver light over the hills near his small home, a soft knock echoed through his door. It was not loud, not demanding, but careful and hesitant. Ethan frowned. Who could be visiting at this hour? The settlement was miles away and few people ever traveled at night. When he opened the door, he could not believe his eyes. Standing there were two small alien girls with pale blue skin, wide, glimmering eyes and delicate features that made them look almost like children, though their expressions carried intelligence beyond their apparent age. Between them was a frail, elderly figure wrapped in simple woven cloth. Her skin shimmered faintly under the moonlight, and her breathing was shallow. "We need help?" one of the girls said in broken English. Her voice was soft but urgent. "Ship broken. Grandmother's sick, please." Ethan's first thought was caution. He had heard stories of alien travelers, some friendly, some dangerous. But then he saw the grandmother, barely able to stand, leaning heavily on her granddaughter's arm. Something inside him shifted. He could not turn away from someone in need, no matter how strange they were. "Come in," he said, stepping aside. Quickly, the three of them shuffled into his small home. The girl's eyes wandered curiously, looking at every gadget, every tool. Ethan noticed their hands moving over familiar objects with fascination, occasionally mimicking his motions when he repaired something. There was a quiet intelligence in their gaze that was both impressive and unsettling. He guided the grandmother to the couch and offered her some water. She nodded faintly, her voice just a whisper, muttering something in her alien tongue. Ethan didn't understand the words, but he felt the calmness in her tone. The girls tried to communicate more clearly. They fumbled with the translator Ethan had on the counter, a small device designed to help bridge language gaps. "We cannot fix ship," one said. "Need energy. Help grandmother." Ethan sighed. He wasn't sure how he could help with their ship. That would take days at least, but he could help the grandmother. He had some basic medical supplies and nutrient packs. He helped her drink and gently checked her pulse. Her heartbeat was weak but steady. The girls looked at him with wide eyes. There was gratitude, but also something deeper. Curiosity, almost fear. Ethan realized this was not just a simple visit. These aliens were carrying more than they let on. As the night deepened, Ethan moved around his small home, making space for them to rest. He offered blankets and set up a small heater near the grandmother. The girls helped as much as they could, moving quietly and observing everything. They seemed respectful of his space, but at the same time there was a nervous energy about them, as if they were worried about something unseen. Ethan tried to make small talk. "Where are you from?" he asked. The translator beeped and emitted soft sounds. The girls exchanged glances. "Far world." "Vera," one said finally. Ethan frowned. He had heard of Vera, remote, largely unexplored, known for its energy crystals that powered advanced technology. That explained why their ship might need special energy to function. "Your grandmother. Is she always sick?" Ethan asked gently. The girls shook their heads. "No, attacked by storm." "Sick," one whispered. "Energy, gone from ship. Gone from her." Ethan frowned. He had never dealt with anything like this. Storms were common on Virel 9, but he understood that alien physiology was different. Whatever had happened on their world had drained her life force, or at least some part of it. He had to help. He didn't know how yet, but he could not let them leave without doing something. Time passed slowly. Ethan prepared small meals for them. He noticed the grandmother's faint glow whenever she moved slightly. It was subtle, almost like heat waves rising from a warm stone, but it pulsed gently, almost in rhythm with her heartbeat. He had never seen anything like it. The girls noticed him staring. "Grandmother?" "Special," one whispered. Ethan nodded slowly. Special indeed. As he set up a sleeping area, the girls explored his shelves and gadgets. Ethan chuckled as one of them accidentally activated a small drone. It hovered and beeped around the room, startling them. They shrieked softly, but Ethan reassured them. "It's okay. It won't hurt." Despite the minor chaos, Ethan found himself laughing quietly. Their curiosity was infectious. He felt a strange connection forming. These small, fragile beings had walked into his life and somehow shaken its quiet order. Late into the night, the grandmother murmured an alien chant. Ethan didn't understand the words, but he felt a strange energy in the room. The walls seemed to hum faintly. The air shimmered as if holding invisible light. Ethan stepped closer, cautious but fascinated. The grandmother's eyes were closed, her hands moving in small, deliberate patterns. The glow from her body seemed to interact with the air, faint ripples spreading across the room. The girls whispered to each other. Ethan could not understand their language, but their tone was urgent, almost reverent. Something was happening, something beyond his comprehension. He watched as the grandmother's hands hovered over a small table, the air above it glowing faintly. The object on the table, a small broken piece of alien technology, began to hum softly, emitting light that pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Ethan realized that her presence, her energy, was affecting the technology. Whatever she was, it was not ordinary. The night continued in this strange, surreal rhythm. Ethan tried to sleep in his chair, but he could not. He kept glancing at them, at the faint glow surrounding the grandmother, and at the strange bond forming between the aliens and his small home. By dawn, Ethan was exhausted, but he awoke to something extraordinary. His house was bathed in a soft light, as if the walls themselves were alive. The grandmother was no longer on the couch. The girls were gone too, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. Ethan rubbed his eyes. Had he dreamt it all? But no. The hum in the walls, the residual warmth and the faint glow told him otherwise. He stepped carefully around the room, inspecting every corner. On the table where the grandmother had chanted, the broken alien device was now whole, its edges repaired, glowing softly as if recognizing his presence. Ethan realized that somehow in one night his life had changed forever. He sat down trying to process everything. The aliens had left him with more than gratitude. They had left him with a connection to something powerful, something beyond his understanding. His hands hovered over the glowing device and a spark of excitement ran through him. Humans were capable of adapting, of learning, of embracing the unknown. And Ethan had just stepped into a world where the unknown was alive, waiting and curious about him. Outside, the twin moons faded as the sun rose. Birds chirped, and the winds moved softly through the nearby trees. Yet inside, Ethan felt the pulse of a new reality. He was no longer just a ship repairer on a quiet colony planet. He was a part of something greater, something strange and wonderful. The aliens had vanished, but their presence lingered like a promise. Ethan knew with a certainty he could not explain that the universe had just opened a door for him. And when the sisters and their grandmother returned, as they surely would, everything he thought he knew about life, humanity, and courage would be tested. For now, he could only wait, listen to the hum of the walls, and wonder at the possibilities. His quiet life was gone. In its place was a future filled with mystery, adventure, and a connection to beings who had just shown him that humanity might be stronger, braver, and more remarkable than he had ever imagined. Ethan smiled softly. The morning sun illuminated the glowing device. He knew one thing for certain: nothing would ever be the same again. Ethan woke to the soft hum of the alien device glowing on his table. The morning light streamed through the windows, highlighting the shimmer that now seemed to linger in the air. He could feel it, not just see it. There was a subtle energy in the room, warm and alive, almost like it was breathing. It was. He hesitated, then reached out to touch the device. The moment his fingers brushed the glowing surface, a spark ran through him, not painful, but electric, awakening something inside him he had never known. Over the next few hours, Ethan discovered changes in himself. His senses felt sharper. He could hear distant sounds with clarity, see movements in the corner of his eyes that he had never noticed before, and even feel the faint vibrations of the ground beneath him. His body moved with a new confidence and coordination, as if he had always been meant to do this. The realization struck him. The grandmother's presence had done more than heal a device. It had awakened latent human potential. As he tested his newfound abilities, a familiar sound echoed outside. Ethan rushed to the window and saw the two alien sisters returning. carrying their grandmother gently between them. The grandmother's frail frame seemed even weaker than before, but there was a spark in her eyes that Ethan could now recognize, a quiet power, restrained, but undeniable. "Ethan," the elder sister said, using the translator, "thank you. She chooses you." Ethan blinked. "Chooses me?" The grandmother weakly lifted a hand, pointing toward the glowing device. Ethan understood. She had seen something in him, something rare. Humans, she believed, were uniquely compatible with the energy that powered her people's technology. The girls helped set her down on the couch, and Ethan offered his support, guiding her carefully. "We have little time," the younger sister said urgently. "Other ships, others, dangerous. They know about energy. They want it." Ethan's heart raced. He had expected a quiet life, maybe a small adventure fixing alien ships. He had not expected interstellar threats. Yet the thrill surged through him. The fear was there, but it was paired with something stronger: determination. Humans, he realized, were not just ordinary beings. Their courage, quick thinking, and adaptability could match even the most advanced alien species. The grandmother spoke in her native tongue again, chanting softly. The device on the table responded instantly, glowing brighter. Ethan instinctively reached out and placed his hands over it. This time he felt the energy flow through him like a river. It was not overwhelming, but empowering. He understood that he could channel it to assist them. The sisters looked at him with awe. "You, human, stronger than expected," one whispered. Their ship, though damaged, needed energy to fly. Ethan worked quickly, following the grandmother's subtle gestures as guidance. The device hummed in his hands, responding to his touch, adapting to his human instincts. No alien hand could have synchronized so perfectly with it. He felt a surge of pride. Humanity's strength lay not in technology, but in ingenuity, courage, and heart. By midday, they had the ship partially repaired, enough to attempt a short flight. Ethan prepared for the journey, knowing that he could not stay behind while the grandmother remained vulnerable and the sisters faced threats. He boarded the ship, feeling the device resonate with his presence. The sisters guided him through alien controls, but it was Ethan's human instinct, quick thinking, and adaptability that allowed them to navigate the complex system efficiently. The first test came almost immediately. As the ship lifted, a squad of unknown alien vessels appeared on the radar. Their intent was clear: they wanted the grandmother's technology. The sisters panicked slightly, but Ethan remained calm. He had no weapon that matched theirs, yet he had something more: unpredictability. Humans could improvise, act where others relied on logic and routine. Ethan guided the ship through narrow asteroid fields, dodging blasts and countering energy attacks using the alien device to manipulate the shields. The sisters watched in amazement as he found routes they had never considered, using instinct and spatial awareness rather than protocols. He realized that humans were dangerous in their unpredictability, and in this, he took a quiet pride. Hours passed in tense maneuvering. The grandmother, weak but present, began chanting again, creating a protective aura around the ship. Ethan instinctively synchronized with it, amplifying the effect. The alien attackers faltered, unable to understand the human-alien synergy at work. Ethan's heart pounded, but he felt alive, capable in a way he had never imagined. Finally, after a tense chase, the attackers retreated. The ship emerged from the danger zone into the calmer expanse of space. Ethan exhaled deeply, realizing how extraordinary the moment was. He had survived, not through brute strength or advanced technology, but through courage, quick thinking, and the uniquely human ability to adapt. The sisters turned to him, eyes wide with gratitude. You are human," the elder whispered. "Not just strong, extraordinary." The grandmother, now resting, gave him a faint smile. Her gaze was sharp despite her frailty. "You, protector," she said simply, her voice filled with meaning. Ethan understood. She had chosen him, not because he was powerful in a conventional sense, but because he embodied what humans could offer: courage, loyalty, and ingenuity. Over the next days, they traveled together to the grandmother's homeworld. Along the way, Ethan learned more about their culture, their technology, and the importance of the grandmother's energy. He helped repair the ship, navigate unfamiliar space, and even solve conflicts with other alien travelers, using his human insight and empathy to mediate. Every action reinforced what he already knew. Humans were special, not because of strength alone, but because they could adapt, think, and act in ways no other species could. When they finally arrived, the sisters' world was breathtaking. The skies shimmered with violet hues, and floating islands glowed faintly with energy. The grandmother's people welcomed them cautiously, but Ethan's presence earned respect. He had proven himself through actions, not words. The energy device, now stabilized and integrated with the grandmother's home, pulsed in harmony with Ethan's touch, a symbol of the bond between human and alien. The climax came when a rival faction attempted to seize the grandmother's technology. They underestimated the human. Ethan led the sisters and local defenders in a carefully planned counterattack. Using his instincts, knowledge of human improvisation, and newfound understanding of alien energy, he disabled the enemy's weapons, rerouted energy flows, and created barriers that no alien had anticipated. In the final moments, the rival faction retreated, overwhelmed by tactics they could not predict. Ethan stood amid the aftermath, exhausted but victorious. The sisters and grandmother looked at him with awe. He had done what they thought impossible. A human had protected not only them, but a technology that could have changed the balance of power in the galaxy. In the days that followed, Ethan's life transformed completely. The sisters and grandmother offered him a place in their society, a connection to the wider galaxy, and knowledge of advanced energy systems that no human had ever encountered. He accepted, knowing that his quiet life on Varel 9 was gone forever. The grandmother's voice echoed in his mind as they celebrated their safety. Humans, adaptable, brave, heart, strong, protector, chosen. Ethan smiled. He realized that the universe had recognized humanity in a way he had never imagined. Humans were more than survivalists. They were extraordinary, capable of facing threats, bridging worlds, and changing the course of events through courage, instinct, and ingenuity. As he looked out over the glowing landscapes of Vera, the sisters, at his side, and the grandmother's steady presence guiding him, Ethan understood the truth of it. Humans had a place in the galaxy, not just as individuals, but as something remarkable, unpredictable, and powerful in their own unique way. The adventure that had begun with a knock on his door had shown him a future filled with possibility, respect, and a chance to define what it meant to be human in a universe full of wonders. Ethan had changed. His life had changed. And he knew that this was only the beginning.